for this computer. Hey everyone, it's Jamie from IndependenceStNola and Seasonsinritual, and I'm here via Zoom with my good friend Helen, the Crimson Cadaverous.
Hi.
And we are going to talk about the week of 4/10 to 4/16. We are recording this on Monday, which is the 10th. And dare I say that this is a very Sagittarius / Jupiter heavy week energetically wise. Would you agree,
Definitely.
or would you just say the first end?
Well, definitely the beginning, because we've got the moon in Sagittarius, and then on Tuesday we're going to have the Jupiter chasmy, which we'll talk about in a minute. So all of that kind of is very Sagittarius Jupiter energy.
And also Jupiter, is Jupiter the biggest planet in our solar system?
Yes, Jupiter's the biggest planet.
Right. And just so you guys, a little touch on mythology, Jupiter is also Zeus when we do the Roman Greek. So biggest planet, the adventurer, lots of movement.
And where we get the word jovial from.
There you go. So we'll see. Thank you. So we'll see how this Jupiter energy starts to work out now that these planets are, to me, a little more mature.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so as you alluded to, Monday, the moon is in Sagittarius. And it's trining Chiron.
Yep. The sun and Jupiter.
Yep. The sun and Jupiter in Aries, because all these guys are still in Aries, right? So the moon is trining Chiron, the sun, and Jupiter. So
yes.
So Monday, let's talk about Monday.
Yes. So big story actually with Monday, that obviously we have that big Jupiter energy with the moon in Sagittarius trining Jupiter. Trine, obviously a harmonious flow. So it's 120 degrees away, about 4 signs away. So it's a very nice flow of that fiery Jupiter energy, actually very jovial. And then we also have Venus entering Gemini today, later on in the day. So that is a pretty big story because, you know, Venus is moving out of her home sign, which she very much enjoys, but she's moving into a sign she still likes. Gemini is very curious and airy and, you know, definitely mental stimulation while dealing with our creative energies.
Yep. So Monday is going to be Monday's going to be a big day because we're going to feel that movement, correct? With Venus moving into Gemini.
Yep. And we've got Juno conjunct Uranus. So there's also movement with that as well, because Uranus is the awakener and kind of, you know, causes shifts. And Juno is what we commit to. So it's like there's shifts within, like, you know, how we're committing to things.
And that's very interesting. I feel like, and I don't know if you feel like this way too, but I do feel like an underlying energy of excitement, even though all these other things are going on the surface, but underneath, I feel this underlying energy. And it's interesting that you say Juno is about commitment. And so, you know, and so maybe it's revolutionizing, because Uranus is the revolution, but revolutionizing how we see the word commitment or think about the word commitment, you know. Before it was, depending on who you are, but before commitment seemed like just one way,
right?
You know,
and
like
I think it's more about making sure we partner with ourselves first and then take our partnering outwards.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the spirit of Aquarius.
Yep.
And Uranus rules that Aquarius. So even though I don't want to confuse you, Uranus is still in Taurus, but we're just talking about energies here.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, you guys, Tuesday. This is a big day as well. Is your cat being okay?
Oh, he's good. He's good.
Okay. Is he looking over your shoulder?
I'm doing the thing, you know, I'm being the concerned mom.
Okay, so Tuesday, the moon will still be in Sagittarius, but then it'll move into Capricorn.
Yes, and kind of grounding things down a little bit, giving us some energy to work with. And big story, though, on that day is that we have the Jupiter chasmy. So that means chasmy means in the heart. And that is when any planet is conjunct the sun. We say that's chasmy.
Okay.
So I think it's within like 13 minutes of, wherever the sun is.
Okay.
It becomes in the heart of the sun. So we have the Jupiter chasmy on Tuesday, and Jupiter is the great benefactor. He expands things. And if we're talking about being in the heart, it's like big love energy.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so, I mean, Jupiter is, Sagittarius, and this is where I know I get a little confusing, you guys, so just stick with me. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is a fire sign.
Yes.
And so the fact that Jupiter is going to be close to the sun, which is fire, I really do think, even though, I do think it's going to be revving up that adventurer in us. I think it's going to be, like you said, the heart.
Yes.
So the sun is also our self-esteem. The sun is how we, move. The sun is how we project. So I do feel like you were saying, it's going to start bringing in a new love for ourselves. But I really see this as like, honestly, bringing in like a new fire into like these masculine signs.
Yes.
Jupiter is, like we said, the biggest planet, and Jupiter is the maintenance of faith, and Jupiter is, would you say, lucky and right. Yeah. And so it being close to the sun, I think it's going to start revving up our divine masculine sides and seeing how we can start moving things forward, because we are noticing what's happening on the planet right now, and we do need leadership and we do need movement, and it's good that we're going to start being confident in ourselves to start doing these things.
Yeah, I like that. And what's interesting, on that same day, we have Venus forming a trine with Pluto, which I think definitely supports what you were just talking about, because Venus, of course, is our value system and creativity, how we, find beauty and, view the world. And Pluto, of course, is our transformation. And it's like we are transforming how we feel about ourselves in the world, and starting with our own hearts.
And I do see this, to me, like playing out in certain ways. I don't really want to get quote unquote political on this show, because we do this stuff, but I feel like the way just the political landscape in America is right now, it is starting to give a voice to men, but like divine masculines, they're starting to speak up and saying like these policies that are going through are misogynistic. Because we do forget like that patriarchy was about complete control over everyone. And we always saw it as, the male patriarchy for obvious reasons. But now that it's starting to shake apart, we're starting to see you're also how everyone was oppressed. Let's just say that. And so I feel like this is giving our voices back to everyone.
I agree. And I think, there's something about the expansive energy of Jupiter going into the heart of the sun that I think it's almost like we're going to have to go into our own hearts. And search for the truth. And like, I think the truth shall set us free. And I think we're seeing that already. Again, Venus trine Pluto, there's this unearthing of, truth energy.
Yeah. And I think too that Venus trine Pluto is, like you said, that transformation. So it is that transformation where we start seeing that feminine energy as mature and like wise and knowing. And we can also start seeing that masculine energy that we all have in us. As well, wise and knowing. And it starts saying like, oh wait, we're actually one, we are connected. And it's going to be interesting to see how this starts to play out. This is just the beginning of a
I know. This is definitely seems like a very transformative week. And we got to remember, the moon is waning right now, so we're releasing to allow space for whatever this is we're kind of working through.
That's really good. And that's a good reminder too. And it's also, when we keep releasing, it's that same thing that it's okay to plant these seeds to manifest what we want. It can be both at the same time.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so Wednesday, the moon will be in Capricorn.
Yes, very nice grounded energy to work with. opposite Mars. So, I mean, I think maybe seeing the value in working for the power that we have. That, you know, we have to actually, you know, keep restoring our power and recharging ourselves, recognizing maybe just the hard work that we put into that.
I agree. And Mars, the moon in Capricorn opposite Mars in Cancer to me too, is also again bringing in that idea of moving forward, being vulnerable. Like it doesn't mean like it's not a martyr energy or put you on the cross energy. I guess it could be seen that way. You know, it could be, I guess, but I see it as more empowering.
Yeah,
you know, how do we
I
move
do
with
as
that?
well.
Yeah.
Especially because on that same day we have that trine with Mercury, Uranus, and Juno.
All in
So
Taurus. All in Taurus.
right, all in Taurus. So it's a very grounded way, you know, to kind of support the moon, who's already grounded in Capricorn, trying to get some work done. And especially that trine with Mercury, it's like, you know, writing a solid narrative.
Yeah, I agree with that because Mercury rules Gemini. Venus is in Gemini. So there's more of that feminine energy coming in.
Yes.
And then Juno is relationships, like you said earlier.
Yep.
Yep, with Uranus and Taurus. And Taurus is ruled by Venus. And as we said, Venus was in Gemini. So this is a lot of energy. And just to be clear, you guys, when I start bouncing back and forth, and Helen does a good job putting up with me, this is part of more of like the intuitive astrology. Like she's really good. I mean, you're a very good intuitive astrologer, but I do lean on you for like the mathematics of it. And so
yeah.
So thank you for putting up when I'm like all over the place with that. That's so
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, you know, my Mercury is in Virgo, so it's like I'm all organized when it comes to these types of things. So
I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My Mercury's in the 8th house, which we're still trying to figure out what that means. But okay. So Wednesday, it's a good day to use your intuition, basically very practical. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say like use the parts of you that maybe you think are a little touchy to like move yourself forward. That's kind of how I see it too. Okay. Thursday, moons will still be in Capricorn.
Yep.
And then so when it's still in Capricorn, it will be squaring Jupiter.
Yes. The sun, Eris, and Vesta. But that square with the sun gives us the last quarter moon. So this is a cardinal last quarter. So last quarter moons are action moons. It's when, you know, the moon is squaring the sun. And last quarter is waning moon. So we're releasing. So this is taking action on releasing something.
Okay.
And to have it, you know, sharing energy with Jupiter, Eris, and Vesta, you know, I think we're kind of tapping into that Jupiter chasmy that we had, you know, earlier in the week. But also, like, you said something about like lighting a fire. I can't remember exactly what you said, but with Vesta involved, she's the fire, the home hearth, the sacred flame. So I think there's something that we're kind of almost like burning off, you know, like getting rid of something that we know we're ready to get rid of. Like we're taking action on that. And conjunction with Pluto, again, releasing, transforming through release and, you know, death, rebirth. That is definitely a day that I think, you know, we're going to be asked to, you know, let something go.
Yeah, I do think it's a big day. I know this sounds so dramatic, of revelations.
Well, that's okay. We're here for it because you know what?
Yeah.
We're squaring the north node. The moon is squaring the north node on that day. So this is a challenge for us to level up.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. Yeah, and I see too. And I'm gonna do a little thing on Vesta because you know which I didn't know this honestly. I knew what I knew about Vesta, but she was like the original goddess. Like she's older than most of them, and she was the original flame until they started patriarchyizing stuff. So I'll read about that. But yeah, when the moon moves into Aquarius later in that day, it squares the north node in Taurus.
Yes.
So the moon in Aquarius is going to be squaring its ruler because Uranus is in Taurus. So it's just a lot of big energy, like you said, of leveling up, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us just to see what that looks like when it comes in, because I like to think like this is what it's going to look like in my life. And this means I'm checking off this box. And what I
Yeah.
keep learning is just like, oh, it just shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let it show up, you guys. Okay, Friday the 14th. The moon will still be in Aquarius at the beginning of
Yes.
the day. And so it's
And
going to
then,
be, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say, yeah, and we've got a lot going on with the planets that day too. But go ahead if you want to say something
Nope.
about the moon.
Nope. Nope. I was going to lead in for your planets.
So we've got Venus squaring Saturn, which I think is very interesting because, Saturn is also a strong masculine energy. He's kind of like the sky daddy. And Venus is the divine feminine. And to me, I almost see that, some kind of like a balancing energy, but in a really positive way because Venus is going to be in a masculine sign, Gemini. Saturn's going to be in a feminine sign, Pisces. And so I almost see it as like a opportunity to see eye to eye with perhaps whether it be our divine feminine or our divine masculine that we're not as connected with.
I like that. I really like that, Helen. I like that because they're gonna keep finding ways to connect so people can start to like move into this energy. Because a lot of times when I work with people and I say these things, they're like, I don't know what you mean. But then I'll give them a scenario and they're like, got it. And so I think this is going to start giving these people some scenarios where like, oh, my masculine and feminine are working together.
Yeah.
I think that's going to just keep coming in and coming in and coming in. And I think the way you just phrased it was beautiful.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think so. I definitely think that, again, it's a challenge because it's a square, but again, challenges level us up. And that leveling up energy continues with Saturn because Saturn forms a sextile with the North Node. So, like, this is basically like a really favorable energy saying that, like, if we accept this challenge from Saturn or whatever, we are going to level up. Saturn basically, again, wants us to do our homework before we go out and play. So do the homework. He's like, all right, there you go.
Yeah. And I see this as like, again, Saturn is sextiling the North Node in Taurus. And like you said, do your homework before you go out and play. Because Saturn is in Pisces, and Pisces again is dreamy. Let's just say dreams. Sorry, Pisces, you're more than that, but but to me, Saturn is saying like the way that we can dream things to be is like in a more loving or more compassionate, state. It is here. We can do that. We can bring this in because you guys, we are breaking apart this energy, this oppressive energy. Like it's happening. We're seeing it unfold in front of our eyes. So on Friday, I do see that happening as well with that Saturn sextiling the North Node, because it's saying this is if this dream that you have, you want to make it plausible, you guys have got to see like there might be some work we got to do it. We might need to organize better. Okay, but we can do it. We can bring it in. And I go with that because you have written here the sun is conjunct Eris in Aries.
Yes, I was thinking about that when you were saying that.
Yep.
Yeah. And she's a disruptress.
Right.
She removes what needs to be removed. And conjunct the sun is ourself. What needs to be removed?
Right. What is it that was holding us back? Whether it was an idea that we've had, an idea that was collective consciousness, Venus entering Gemini. Gemini to me is that unity consciousness now. It's not duality. And so we're starting to see like, wait a minute, that doesn't have to be my story. It can be a plethora of things. And so the sun conjunct Eris, she's going to bring in that discord.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eris.
Yeah.
Okay, Saturday, the moon will still be in Aquarius.
Yes. And then before the moon moves into Pisces, which will happen later on in the day, she forms a sextile with Jupiter, the sun, Eris, and Vesta. So all that energy that we keep working with this Aries stellium, now we're working in a like easy flowing, harmonious energy with it. So I mean, to me, moon in Aquarius, that's future thinking. It's right before, interestingly enough, it's right before Vesta moves into Taurus. So, you know, Vesta's about to get really grounded, that sacred flame. It's almost like getting grounded in our future.
And I really like how this idea with like with Jupiter and the sun, which is all that fire, right? Masculine fire, and Venus is still right there with them through the whole week. And that's like, I want to say, or no, sorry. Yeah, Venus, but also Vesta. And Vesta is like the feminine flame. So like it's there. It's balancing itself out all throughout the week.
Yep.
Yeah, because sextiling Jupiter, the sun, Eris, and Vesta all in Aries, and Aries again is fire.
Yep.
Right. So we really are initiating this new way of thinking, and in like being happy with it. Even if you guys are scared or like new things are coming up and you're like, it's hitting me all at one time, you just know Eris, who is discord, is gonna it's gonna help fizzle it. She has that discord, but it helps bring things that we have to see, that we need to see.
Yeah.
And then we can have that conversation. So just take a lot of deep breaths.
Yeah, but that's definitely a time for taking deep breaths.
Okay, and then later on Saturday, the moon will move into Pisces.
Yep.
And then Vesta, our flame, will enter Taurus.
Right. Exactly. So that grounding in the sacred flame.
I think that's so beautiful. So yeah. Okay, Sunday, moon in Pisces.
Yes.
How do we end the week?
With the moon conjunct Saturn. So again, that's all that Saturn stuff that was going on Friday. The moon is now feeling it. We are feeling it. So whatever we've been kind of balancing out with that Venus square Saturn, whatever the kind of leveling up was, we get an opportunity to feel our way through it.
Okay.
And then we also have Vesta squaring Pluto on that day. Okay. So again, like that burning off energy we talked about during the last quarter moon, this is kind of continuing with that.
Yeah. Because Vesta just entered Taurus the day before.
Yes.
And it's squaring Pluto as well. And Pluto is an Aquarius. Yeah, yeah. And also, I think too, when things square Pluto, right, it's transforming them, because he is in Aquarius, it's transforming them into something you can see as the future.
Yes.
Or something to make us feel more unique about ourselves, our own individuality. I just kind of repeated myself, but our individuality. And so in case like we would see Vesta as one thing, but it's like, how do we see Vesta in ourselves? How do we do that way?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say about this upcoming week?
I think that pretty much covers it for the week.
Okay. All right, you guys, this is going to be a big week. It's going to be a lot of expansion with all this Jupiter energy. But I also think it's going to be a lot of ways how we start to see our masculine and feminines working together as our divine selves. So yeah, just definitely take it one day at a time.
It's a time of recalibration, and we just need to be here for it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, if you guys have any questions, you know, you can always reach out to me and Helen via Instagram, YouTube, or our websites. Of course, if you want to set up a session, sorry, her cat's having some issues. If you want to set up a session with me or Helen, then
sorry, he just jumped up on something.
That's okay. If you want to have a session with me and Helen, feel free to reach out to us those same ways. Okay, so tell Tank to knock it off.
He needs to calm down, but yeah, he works for Eris.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, everybody. We will see you next time. All right, bye.
Bye.